Hello everyone, I am here with a Bible reading. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm hurting really bad today, I'm sorry. My eyes are watering, I'm in so much pain. Alright. Mind over matter. My glasses keep getting folded up because my eyes. I might leave it off. Let's see. Okay, John chapter 4. We'll be taking off where we left off yesterday, guys. So you guys should be ready if you're following along. John chapter 4, verse 43 through 54. Jesus was talking to the Samaritan woman at the well, remember? And he stayed with them 2 days, and they believed in him. A lot of them believed in him, not for just what he told the woman about herself, but because they got to know Jesus themselves as well. And are you ready with that one? Psalm 105, verses 16 through 36. Your bookmark should already be set to where you need to be for everything, right?
Should be. I don't know. Okay.
And Proverbs chapter 14, verses 26 and 27.
Okay.
I'm sorry my hair's so curly and frizzy today, guys. It's always like that after I wash it.
What's
Huh?
John 4 what?
John chapter 4, verse 43, we're starting with and ending with 54. So you need to find 43.
Okay.
Ready? Okay, so Jesus is at Samaria. Jesus is there at the well, Jacob's well, that Jacob made. At the well Jacob made. He is there with the Samaritans, okay? Now after 2 days he departed thence and went into Galilee. For Jesus himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. Then when he was come into Galilee, the Galileans received him, having seen all the things that he did at Jerusalem at the feast, for they also went unto the feast. So Jesus came again into Cana of Galilee, where he made the water wine. And that was his first miracle, remember? Turning the water into wine. But he came again there. He came again. He didn't go there the first time. This wasn't the first miracle. This was then. So Jesus came again into Cana of Galilee, where he had made water into wine. And there was a certain nobleman, whose son was sick at Capernaum. Now listen to this. When he heard that Jesus was come out of Judea into Galilee, he went unto Jesus, and besought him that he would come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. And this guy was a nobleman. A nobleman. He was somebody of importance. He could have said, "Servant of mine, go and tell this teacher to come and heal my son who is sick." He went himself. Then said Jesus unto him, "Except ye see signs and wonders, ye will not believe." The nobleman said unto him, "Sir, come down, or my child die." Jesus saith unto him, "Go thy way, thy son liveth." And the man believeth the word that Jesus had spoken unto him, and he went his way. And as he was now going down, his servants met him, and told him, saying, "Thy son liveth." Then inquired he of them the hour when he began to amend, when his son what hour did my son start to get better? And they said unto him, Yesterday, at the 7th hour, the fever left him. That was the exact same time Jesus told him, Your son will liveth. So the father knew that it was the same hour in which Jesus said unto him, Thy son liveth, and himself believed, and his whole house then believed Jesus. This is again the second miracle that Jesus did, and he was come out of Judea into Galilee. This again, the second miracle that Jesus did when he was come out of Judea into Galilee. All right, so that is where we're stopping with the book of John today. We are doing a Bible study again today as well, guys. If you want to follow along with me, if you want to join our Bible study, I'm not sure exactly what our Bible study will be in today. Yesterday, the Bible study was in the book of Romans, like I thought. If I had my Bible in here, I could tell you what it's going to be in. But I'll be finishing up a whole other Bible book, and I'll have to be starting over a whole new one. So that makes 2 books we have finished with our Bible studies here lately. So, but we will be doing a Bible study tonight if you guys would like to join us. And I really wished you would, because I do them alone. Sherm joins me with the readings, and I'm very thankful for that. But he doesn't join the Bible studies. I hope you guys will. Because I do them alone. And sometimes people watch them, sometimes they don't. But it's always nice to have someone to do them with, to discuss things. Okay. Anyway, let's get to our psalm. We're continuing on with Psalm 105 from yesterday with verses 16 through 36. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant. His brothers sold him for a slave because they were jealous of him. Remember, Joseph was Rachel's son. Rachel couldn't have children. She was barren. Her and Jacob tried for a long, long time to have children. Rachel and Jacob, but they couldn't have children. But Jacob and Leah had many children. They had 8 sons. They had more sons. They had daughters. You heard of the 12 tribes of Israel? Leah and Jacob had 10. Rachel ends up having 2. She has Joseph, which the brothers sell into slavery. And she later, after Joseph is sold into slavery, has Benjamin. And then she dies. But they are again reunited. Joseph ends up saving them because God gave Joseph a special gift, remember? The interpreter of dreams. He was able to interpret dreams. And he was able to interpret Pharaoh's dream. So he became head over Egypt, just right under Pharaoh. And he saved his own family, who was in a famine in Canaan, who came all the way to Egypt looking for food. And they didn't even recognize Joseph. And Joseph told them who he was after he punished them for a little while. After he played a trick on them. And they couldn't believe it. And they told him how sorry he was. And his father came to see him, and he moved them all there. And he didn't believe about Benjamin because he never knew his mother had Benjamin. So he was very happy to know about Benjamin. Anyway, that's a different story. That's in the Old Testament. whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron until the time that his word came. The word of the Lord tried him. The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free. He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his senators wisdom. Israel also came into Egypt. Remember Jacob, the name God gave Jacob. God gave Jacob the name Israel. Israel came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly. They even outnumbered the people of Egypt, and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moses his servant, and Aaron, which was Moses' brother, whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them, and wonders in the lands of Ham. He sent darkness, and it made dark, and they rebelled against his word. He turned their waters into blood and slew their fish. Their waters into blood and slew their fish. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chambers of their kings. He spake, and there divers sorts of flies and lice in all their coasts. He gave them hail for rain, and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines also, and their fig trees, and brake the trees of their coasts. He spake, and the locusts came, and caterpillars, and that without number, and did eat up all the herbs in their land, and devoured the fruit of their ground. He smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. Do you want me to start over?
No.
Now see, this is when you're wondering, why did this happen if Joseph was in charge? Well, Joseph was in charge, right? Well, this is later. Moses wasn't in Joseph's time. After Joseph had died, then later came Moses and them, and a king came, a Pharaoh came that didn't know Joseph. And Moses was raised as an Egyptian because they were killing the Egyptians, or not the Egyptians, they were killing the Hebrews because they outnumbered the Egyptians, and they were afraid they would attack the Egyptians because they outnumbered them, because the Hebrews were enslaved. They were slaves to the Egyptians, and they didn't know Joseph. The Pharaoh didn't, so they didn't care about killing the Hebrews. So they enslaved them. They enslaved the Hebrews instead of living with them peaceably, because they were Joseph's family. They didn't care about that. They enslaved them. So Moses was sent up in a basket, and Pharaoh's daughter took him as her own child and raised him. So he was raised an Egyptian, but he later found out who he really was, and he stuck to his roots as a Hebrew and saved his people through the plagues God gave him in Egypt. What they told you, the locust, the blood in the water, the locust, the lice, killing the firstborn of all the children, even the animals. Killed Pharaoh's firstborn child. It was a son. And that's when he let them go, but then changed their mind and came back after them, but it didn't do no good, because God parted the Red Sea and let all the Hebrews go through. And then when Pharaoh and them were coming after the Hebrews all made it safely through. And then when the Egyptians were coming, running in their chariots after them, God let the Red Sea back down, and the Egyptians washed up in the Red Sea. But as you know, the Hebrews disobeyed God, who was with them day and night, who was taking them to the promised land, was with them day and night, and they treated him horribly. When things were going good, they listened to God, but when things didn't go their way and they didn't get what they want, they were mean to God and didn't want to listen. They said horrible things about God. And it really, it really upset God. It hurt his feelings because he was always with them. God fed them manna, the bread of angels, but they wanted meat. This is just for an example. He fed them the bread of angels. He fed them manna from heaven, but they wanted meat. So God gave them meat, birds from the air to eat, more than they could eat. But nothing was ever good enough. So that's why he had them wander in the desert before they came into the promised land for 40 years, until that whole generation died out. That generation God was not going to have enter the promised land because of their wickedness. That's why you think, why did it take so long to get to the promised land? 40 years. That's why. It wouldn't have taken that long to get there. God made it take that long to get there, for that generation to die out, because he didn't want those wicked generations to get there. He was letting that generation die out. Their children was going to enter the promised land, not that generation, because it was too wicked. Okay, now let's end today's Bible reading with Proverbs chapter 14, verses 26 and 27. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. All right, guys, that was our Bible reading for today. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you guys will come back here in a little bit and join me with the Bible study, and I'll be doing some other videos too. I hope you'll join me, but of course the Bible reading and the Bible study are the most important, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys, God bless.